Trijicon scopes are known for their quality, for their ruggedness. And I've owned a number of Trijicon products over the years. In fact, I'm a big fan of the ACOG, have reflexes. But this is the first standard configuration scope that I've owned from Trijicon. This is the AccuPower. Now, this is very similar to the AccuPoint, which traditionally has the dual illumination of tritium and then with your fiber optic. With the AccuPower, this is an electronic scope only. There's no tritium here, there's no fiber optic. That has been the trend with Trijicon because a lot of companies have gone with the electronic sights and they've been very popular. With Trijicon, with the quality of the glass, with the quality of the construction and the ruggedness of these scopes, I think this makes a really great option if you're looking for an electronic scope. One of the great things though about the Trijicon glass, and I really want to preface this because many of you guys know that Trijicon is expensive. It's not cheap, but you get what you pay for. A few years ago I was out at a big shoot. We were shooting at 300, 400, 500 yards. I had a decent quality scope that I was using. In fact, it had done very well, but out to real distances, the glass just wasn't up to what the Trijicon was. And I was having a really hard time being able to acquire my targets and to see them clearly. I switched to a Trijicon ACOG and it made a world of difference. Glass is so important when it comes to your optic, and glass is expensive. You know, if you really want a good quality scope that you're going to be able to see, especially at distance, having the right glass is key and it's critical. The AccuPower line is new to Trijicon. In fact, my good friend Alan over at Georgia Optics supplied this scope for me to check out and to really test through. And I was really excited because, again, I've been wanting to get a hold of a standard Trijicon configured scope. And I'll tell you what, the glass in this, the accuracy is just top notch. Now we're going to take a closer look at the scope itself, and of course we want to make sure the rifle is unloaded, and it is. This is just a really fine finished scope. And Trijicon's good about that. I mean, they really put out some quality products, and the finishes and the fit, and plus they're bulletproof. I mean, that's one of the other things about the Trijicon. I've owned Trijicons for, again, about 16 years, a number of different ones. This is really my first traditionally styled scope. Most of the Trijicon products that I have are ACOGs or reflex scopes. The biggest issue has been the price, and that's one of the things about Trijicon is they're not cheap. But here's the deal, you know, the rule of thumb, at least it's been this way for a number of years, is that your optic, the price of your optic should match the price of your firearm, which to me has always been kind of crazy. But really, the glass, this is the eyepiece. This is where you're aiming. This is what's going to put you on paper, put you on target, especially at long distances. And so the glass is an integral part of your rifle system. And it's according to what you're going to do. I mean, if you're really wanting to shoot out to 300, 400, 500 yards, up to 800 yards, glass quality is going to be key to being able to hit your target. Now, this is a brand new product from Trijicon. They've offered the AccuPoint for a long time, which is a dual illumination scope. It has fiber optics and tritium. The AccuPower has gone away from that to where it is totally on electronics, which AccuPower. And so we have here a illuminated reticle with electronic scope. And Trijicon's been doing a lot of that lately. They've been going more toward electronic sights because a lot of guys really like the electronics. With the tritium, you're not going to get the brightness that you will with electronics. I mean, it just is what it is. Now, the fiber optic is helping to boost that up, but that requires a light source for the fiber optic. This is a 1x4x24. It is a really nice hard anodized finish on a 6061 T6 aluminum body. You can see the quality. I mean, you can see the color. It's just well done, which is typical for Trijicon. They are a premium top shelf manufacturer of optics and have been, of course, used in the military for a number of years, for about 20 years. So it's not, the quality is there, the quality control is set into place with the Trijicon products. Of course, the turning dial is very smooth, indexing in to whatever magnification you want. Typically, it's funny, I go from 4 or 1. I typically don't use the in-between settings, but it does give you the option to be able to do that. The magnification ring here on the back for your focus ring, This is really nice. It turns well. It's rubberized. These are knurled to be able to get a good positive grip on them. Now the illumination dial has 11 settings, going from 1, and then of course it goes all the way around to 11. The marks in between are off, which I really love that. And what I hate is being on the off position and needing to get a bright setting and just having to crank the dial around. With this, you can, whatever setting you want, whatever illumination setting that you like, you can have it on there, and then when you want to go off, just turn it off. And especially in settings that are lower than the maximum brightness. The battery cap is right here. It does use one of the CR2032 lithium batteries, which those are very plentiful. In fact, I have a number of optics that have that same battery. You can get cards of them fairly reasonable on eBay or wherever you're going to buy them, but they're very reasonable. You can buy them in bulk. Now there are 4 different options with your reticle. This is with the segmented reticle, and it has the dot with crosshairs. I really like this particular reticle because of the bullet drop compensation. You can see right below the crosshairs, it goes all the way down to 800 meters. Really, that's about as much as you're going to get out of 223. The one thing I like about the segmented circle is that it draws your eye very naturally. Now it's illuminated at 11. This is the top setting. Again, one of the things I just love is you can just turn it right off and you can go right back to that original setting. One of the complaints that I heard about the illumination in this, as far as the battery life, is that Trijicon states that in max power, this will go for 31 hours constant on. I left mine on at like 7, and I left it on for 2 weeks. And here we can see the same battery. It retained the battery life with 7, and that's with 2 weeks. Now here are the crosshairs without the white background. Give you another idea of the brightness. On the white, it just really kind of floods it out. This is on the 8 setting. Now I just want to demonstrate here the clarity of the glass, and it's really exceptional how well the glass just pops. I mean, it just is so crisp and so clean. The eye relief on this scope is 3.5 inches, which is really nice. It's a really generous eye relief. One of the problems with the Trijicon ACOG is it typically has a 1.5 eye relief. So you've really got to get your eye up there. It's been a big complaint about the ACOG. With the AccuPower, you've got plenty of distance. In fact, the eye relief, you've got some variation even in that 3.5 inches. And then the glass is clear. It fills up the lens. Of course, getting the camera angle right on here makes it difficult. You're seeing a little bit of black on the side, but really, when you're looking through this scope, it is a big, bright objective. I mean, it's really nice. The AccuPower is a second focal plane scope, and that means that the reticle is set behind the magnification. When you turn the dial, it doesn't change the magnification of your reticle. Now this will change some of the point of impact, and this is what's commonly being used and has been used for a number of years. Original scopes actually had the reticles set in front of the magnification, so when you turned your magnification on, it actually magnified the reticle. The U.S. Army has gone back to that system because of using night vision in a low power setting, and then for combat during the day being able to switch that to really high magnification. But one of the problems is with second focal plane is that it changes the impact somewhat. So you need to sight your scope in at a known magnification, and then when you turn it up. Now with 1:4, that's not really that critical. What I really love though about second focal plane is that the reticle stays the same and it stays thin. Once you magnify the reticle, it's going to make it thicker, and you're going to be less accurate or at less pinpoint accuracy than you would with your second focal plane. You're going to increase your magnification. We're going up to 4 power, but it doesn't change the reticle. It doesn't magnify the reticle. One of the big advantages to me of having a second focal plane scope is you're going to retain your thin crosshairs. You're going to be able to get better accuracy. The only difference is your point of impact is going to change with magnification. Let's say you sight it in at 4 power, it's going to be a little different impact if you go to 1. One of the great advantages though of a 4-power scope is that that's not that much. I mean, there's not a big difference. And so setting it in at 4 power, you're still going to be able to get really accurate hits at 1x. When you get to really higher magnification scopes, especially if you're going for tactical or hunting targets that are moving in different known distances, that's where it changes. But if you magnified the crosshairs as you brought it up, it would make it much thicker, and you're going to have less of a accuracy or pinpoint accuracy that you would with the second focal plane. Now, as far as your windage and elevation knobs, what I really like is their toolless. On here, to make the impact right, you turn it, it has the angle, and it does list here that it is 1/4 MOA or 0.1 mil dot. And so you can go either way. It says pull to reset, and one of the things about this is you're turning it, there's an audible, very light click, but it's tactile. You can feel it clicking as you turn it. Once you get it set to where you want to, you can open the turret or just pull it out and then turn it to set it on whatever setting you want to place it on. That way you know where you are, and then if it gets turned, you can go right back to that original setting. And elevation, same thing, impact up, it's marked clearly, it's not difficult to see, and again, the same deal, and you can lift to reset when you get your 0. First group of the day, shooting kinetic, 75 grain, 223, just a little group here just to get on paper, seeing where I am. Then again, brought it down to about right here after getting it sighted in. Here was the third group, and again, getting it a little tighter, but not quite getting it over to the bullseye. And then the fourth group right here, just getting it really close in, really good tight group, really bearing down. Once I kind of get knowing where I'm hitting, I kind of tend to tighten it up. And that's what happened here. But here at 100 yards, I kind of spread out some. In fact, I had some flyers, and I was really kind of concerned about what was going on. Checked my scope out, and it was a little bit loose. This is an American Defense Manufacturing scope, which is excellent. But one of the things that after I read, which, you know, I'm terrible about reading directions, is that this is adjustable for different size Picatinny rails, and I just didn't have it tight enough. And I guess over the day of shooting, it tended to loosen up just a little bit. I tightened it down, locked it on, it's perfect. The big problem there was just me not preparing myself with my mount. It's 10.2 inches in length, it's 2.6 inches in width, and it's 2.2 inches in height. So it's a pretty compact scope, really fits well on an AR-15. Weighs 16.2 ounces, but you're getting a lot of glass and a lot of great features in here. So it's just a really exceptional, compact little size. These are waterproof up to 10 feet or 3 meters. They're dry nitrogen filled, which will eliminate fogging and will seal the scope and to keep the internals, you know, where they need to be. There are green and red options for the electronic reticle. It does come in 4 different styles of reticle for the 1x4. And of course, you know, you can go to the Trijicon website and look at all that. It does have 4 different models as far as magnification. The 1x4, the 2.5 by 10 by 56, the 3 by 9 by 40, and the 4 to 6 by 50. So there's a lot of different options with the new AccuPower system. Now, Trijicon offers a limited lifetime warranty on the scope itself, of course, any kind of manufacturer's defects, and the electronics are warranted for 5 years. Now, the manufacturer suggested retail price on the Trijicon website for the AccuPower scope is $899, but you get what you pay for. But you can go to GeorgiaOptics.com, and they have these same scopes for $765. That's a great price, and Georgia Optics is just a high quality. In fact, they sell more Trijicon products than anybody else in the country. And Alan and the guys over there are great to deal with. So check out Georgia Optics and any of the optics that you're looking for, but Trijicon especially, they carry a really quality line of Trijicon products. And one of the things it says right on their website is that if you find a better price, call them and they'll match it. So just an excellent option, an excellent source if you're looking for good quality optics. Of course, Trijicon products have been used by our military forces for a number of years. They've proven themselves in battle. They're all made right here in the USA. Just a great company to deal with. It's hard to go wrong with Trijicon. thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Okay, here we have just a photo. Okay, now here we have just now single focal. Double focal. Now the windage and elevation dials, very well done. It just comes right off. Okay. Windage and elevation. Of course, we're gonna look at windage first. The rain is coming. Oh yeah.